But I loved him dearly, and that man was very, very abusive towards me. But I still took my chances, and I have a mouthpiece on me that gets me in a lot of trouble. But I tolerated that, because my self-worth was so low.
All right, Shana.
Yes.
Shana, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I grew up in San Diego and a little bit in Hawaii.
And tell me about your family growing up. You had both your parents?
No, my parents separated when I was 9 months old. So I grew up with a mom who I had 7 different stepdads. So it was kind of rough.
Your mom married how many times?
7.
7, wow.
I grew up in private school and part of the country club. So I had a rather, you'd say, upscale upbringing. However, my mom, she had a nail salon, and she kind of lived a rough life with a lot of, her friends were porn stars and whatnot. So my mom, she did the best she could, you could say. But poor choice in men. I had a rough life. But it was covered with my grandparents and money and whatnot.
Yeah, but no terrible abuse or anything like that?
Oh, no, I suffered from physical, emotional, and sexual abuse growing up. Yeah.
You made it through high school?
Made it through high school. No, I didn't actually. I ran away halfway across country at 16 and subsequently ended up in continuation school. But I did get my diploma.
What did you do after that?
After that, I didn't do much. I tried to go to college. I do have some college completed. Trade schools, beauty school, real estate, and some accounting. Got married. Was with my husband. We didn't get married till later on, but we were together for many years. Raised a family, have a daughter, and was in Huntington Beach, doing well, very well. Got in a car accident, was on some pain medication, so I was a housewife at home, raising a beautiful little girl. And my husband, he had a construction company, primarily for window cleaning, and we're doing very well in Huntington Harbor. And things fell apart after a while. Our daughter was 8 years old. And basically, my father, who is a doctor in chiropractic, he had found out I had tried heroin and helped my husband get an attorney and put a 7-year restraining order that I couldn't see my daughter. So I was in rehab getting off of my pain pills. And I had tried heroin one time, and I just crumbled at that point. I was in the PTA and I was a room mom for Isabella. And when I couldn't see her anymore and could no longer be a part of her, that's when things just crumbled. I remember I had an emotional break at that time. I just felt my entire world crumble. Thank you. And everything fell apart, I remember. And I told my father that I was breaking inside, and he just told me to hold on. I wasn't being strong enough and basically called me a loser. And that's when I pretty much gave up. I started stripping at 36 years old. I started using heroin daily. And I went straight for the needle because I just felt that I was fighting a losing battle. I would go to visits at the Orange County, I forget child CPS visiting area, and I would be strung out on cocaine. My eyes were fluttering, and I was trying to visit my daughter, broken. But at least I was trying to show up for the visits. But I was so broken inside and lost. So I gave up on that eventually because I could no longer function. So I left the rehab. I started dating a guy who was addicted to heroin, who would shoot me up. And he was working for Vivid Entertainment, which is adult industry. And came out to Los Angeles and just blew through a bunch of money and was dancing, and then got into porn myself. Some amateur stuff that eventually had gotten leaked into the public. I'm 45 years old now. And this is
me at the end of the end of this 9-year run, graduated to fentanyl use subsequently after the heroin. Heroin was no longer doing its job for me, as well as speed. And you can imagine some of the people I've hung out with and some of the things I've done. I was doing home invasions. I was looking at 20 years with 2 strikes 2 years ago in court. And I had a boyfriend that was an accomplice. But I took the rap, and he died. I think he just got stage 4 liver cancer out of the blue, and he passed away 3 weeks later in the middle of our trial. So I survived, thankfully. I was pregnant, and I had a late-term abortion. I was 6 months pregnant, and I did have a late-term abortion. I was 42 years old with his baby. He denied the baby the entire time, told me he was going to make sure I had a miscarriage. He was going to punch the baby and whatnot. So I've been through quite a bit. But it's the life that I chose. I haven't seen not one picture of my daughter. Let me backtrack. I did see one picture. It was this year. I looked her up on Facebook, and I was able to see one picture of her. I haven't seen her since she was 8 years old. She's now 17. And I did see one picture of her this year, and it was so beautiful. The family hasn't sent anything. They won't send pictures. They won't send report cards or anything like that. And I gave up sending birthday cards and Christmas cards because I knew I wasn't doing my part as a mom or trying to get her back after the 7-year restraining order was lifted. I just wasn't ready or right. And I kind of gave in to the fact that maybe when she's an adult, I can be there for her when I got myself right. Coming to LA, I basically came to LA. I was content to die. I didn't want to kill myself. I didn't know how, and I knew I couldn't go to heaven if I did. So I would live very, very dangerously. I do suffer from mental illness. I don't know if I have bipolar or just severe depression, but I was doing such risky behavior that it was amazing that I survived most days, much less most nights.
Can you give me an example of what you're talking about?
Well, I would carry weapons on a daily basis, and when I needed money, because I like to do things on a grand scale, so I would need money and a lot of it to do the things I like to do. So when times would get rough, I would take cars all the time, and I would carry weapons. I would go up in people's homes if they were home, and I would do home invasions on a lot of them. And I'm not proud of that today. I didn't feel it when I would do it. In 2019, I was doing a lot of them. I didn't have a real conscience or really care. I was so numb. So that's an example. I had no fear. So if you had something I liked, I would let you know that I wanted that and you can give it to me or I'm going to take it type of attitude. And that's not pretty or nice or ladylike at all. But that's how I lived. And it was very dangerous because of the people I would deal with. They were just as dangerous as I. And I'm not a big person. And I could have very much easily gotten hurt. And I've been slapped by a 6'10" man a couple of times, and that hurts. And I was in a very abusive relationship with a very powerful man who used to make $16,000 to $20,000 a week. And that was my boyfriend at one time for 3 years. And he used to abuse the heck out of me physically and emotionally. And I, for some reason, loved this man dearly. And he's the one that passed away. But I loved him dearly. And that man was very, very abusive towards me. But I still took my chances. And I have a mouthpiece on me that gets me in a lot of trouble. But I tolerated that, because my self-worth was so low at the time. And the good news is I did spend some time in jail. Over this past, in 2020, I got a 6-month sit down in jail, and I was looking at a long time in prison. And I'm grateful that I was offered this program again to go back into it. It's a mental health diversion. And I actually I'm in the program now. So I'm forced to kind of sit down and do good. And I'm doing that now. And I'm on methadone. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm able to live somewhat of a balanced life, you could say.
Is your life less hectic on methadone than it was on
absolutely
heroin or fentanyl?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's managed. And I'm also taking Zoloft, Topamax, and Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic, and depression medication, and a mood stabilizer, which helps me stay a little bit balanced and keeps me functioning a little bit more like a regular, normal person. Because someone who does the drugs that I do, and for the last 9 years, is not a happy person or not functioning well in society as a normal person, quote unquote. So there must be something chemically going on with me, maybe from PTSD from childhood or from my ex-boyfriend. Not an excuse. I obviously have some things to work on, and I'm in intense therapy as well. So I think those things combined help me function better today.
And you've been living on the streets up until?
No, I was living on the streets for 9 years.
Yeah.
In and out of motels, hotels, and whatnot. And I lived in a tent out here on Skid Row.
You were supporting yourself how? Mostly?
I was a prostitute I can't lie. In the program, the last 4 months, I've been a prostitute. But on a higher scale, I had a web page, and believe it or not, my customers were police officers. Yeah, I was prostituting myself to make money. So I'm not functioning that well. I hate to be honest like that, but that's the truth. I recently just stopped doing that.
Yeah, I think honesty is the only way to get past it, though.
True.
You keep it in the closet and just...
Yeah. I think I will always have a little bit of that devious side in me, no matter how good I do.
Did you always have that?
Yeah.
Even when you were younger?
Yeah. I think I first learned when my stepdad, my mom was dealing with a stepdad. We lived in a boat, and he was dealing with the cartel. And I would find packs of weed or cocaine, and he would pay me off not to tell my mom and give me Percocet at 14, 13, and weed and $50 bills, not to tell her. So I learned at a young age deviant behavior and how to hustle.
That's interesting. You learned from your dad.
Stepfather.
Oh, stepfather. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very bad person, a very bad person.
What emotions do you go through with all your, with or without medications?
Severe insecurity. I don't ever feel safe. I feel unprotected. I feel my mom never protected me. I just feel like she chose her husbands over us children. And so I never feel safe. I never feel like my feelings are ever validated. And I think I'm struggling with a lot of anger because of that. And it's really fucked up because, excuse my mouth, because of the way that I approach relationships in my adult life now. I really don't trust anybody. And it's sad because I really run over men. And there's been a few good ones that have really wanted to be close to me, and I really just run over them.
In what
really
ways?
Bad. Huh?
In what ways?
I don't trust them. I always believe that I need to be the fun girl, the girl that they run to, not the girl. I want to be the girl they run to, not the girl they run away from. So I don't believe in the whole wife thing, because I think that's a big scam, because I believe that they always run away from the wife, and they run to the side piece. So I always want to be the side piece, because that's the one that they're honest with, and that's the one they have fun with. I don't believe the wife is the one that they want to be around. And that's a really backwards way of thinking in a healthy mindset. But I'm the side girl that the husbands run to. And I know that.
Yeah, almost your personality makes you that way almost.
My basic disposition. Yeah.
It seems like you're not meant to be a stay-at-home housewife, a faithful wife.
Right. And I used to think I believe in love so much. I truly do. I've just my whole belief system. I believe in that so much. It's the one thing I hold and cherish dearly in this world. And I'm just so afraid that, is it possible and true? Or do we have so many, like, are we just meant to just be in the moment and love who we love at that moment? Is it possible to actually be committed to one person, or is it possible to actually, is commitment even a reality? I don't even know.
Who does?
I really don't even.
It's a big question. We could spend an hour on that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the best friend to people. I can have the most fun with people, and when it comes, and I'm a great fun person. Is when it comes down to me getting in a relationship, I'm terrible. I'm an insecure mess. I don't trust. I doubt everything. I'm awful at a relationship. As much as I try not to be and try to be that secure person that I am normally on my own, get me in a relationship and I fall to pieces because I just feel like I'm not worthy. They're not going to stick with me. They want the side piece, not me.
Yeah. What's your biggest fear?
That. And losing, there's someone that I have in my life. I'm afraid of losing him because he's a breath of fresh air in my life and I love him so dearly. And he's taught me how to live and enjoy life. And he's a great person in my life, and I'm afraid of losing him.
Do you enjoy this life you've been leading?
Now, I was never happy until I came to LA, until I started putting all these drugs in my body, until I said, I'm not going to try to be what everybody wants me to be. I was never happy until I came out and just destroyed myself and rebuilt myself up into this person I am now, who says I'm going to be happy at all costs and I'm going to be true to myself and let go of all these expectations of me.
But like when you were doing home invasions and all that, you were happier than when you were before?
Yeah. Yes. But I wasn't happy then. That's not true happiness.
Right.
I'm happy today now that I've gotten a grip on my brain a little bit I'm happy to be on my medication, and I'm happy to have some sort of semblance of normality now.
Yeah, the mental issues are a huge part of your story.
Huge.
Yeah.
And my paternal grandmother and whatnot suffer from depression.
Oh, really?
My mom suffers from bipolar. So that's a big deal to get a grip on that and finally be able to identify that I have some mental issues going on.
And drugs are part of your life too.
Absolutely. I've been addicted to opiates from a young age. My aunt gave me a Vicodin at a young age.
When did that start?
I was like 14 and I had my menstrual cycle and it hurt so bad I like passed out. And she gave me a Vicodin extra strength. And from that day I was hooked. So I was always going to the ER seeking pain meds for a pretend fall I had.
It's an interesting life you've led.
Yeah. And always trying to pretend that I was okay and that nothing was going on. And when I couldn't get what I wanted, I'd go in the bathroom and drink Schnapps 100 and drink and couldn't drink anymore. And I'd throw up and I would just keep trying to drink. And I hated alcohol, but I needed a head change because I could never function the way that normal people did. I just couldn't do what normal people did, I felt. I didn't like it. I just didn't like life the way that on life's terms.
What do you find? Do you find it's too boring?
Yeah. Yes. Getting up and taking a shower and getting ready for work, that to me is just like, I cannot just live like that.
It's like torture.
But now I'm a little bit medicated. For 10 months now, I've been on medication. I feel like that's what I do now, and I enjoy it. It's regular. So I know I needed to balance and plus with the drugs I was using, take away all your dopamine and all your serotonin.
Right.
So no wonder I wasn't happy doing normal things like that. And I was depressed, so I didn't have a lot of serotonin before. So I'm trying to understand maybe what was going on. But happy people don't use the drugs I was using as often as I was using them. So
But yeah, I guess I'm just one of those ones that are struggle with a bad seed, maybe, you know?
Yeah, after doing all these talks with all these different people, it seems like some of us are just genetically predisposed to live a chaotic life.
Yes. And that's exactly because I do everything to the extreme.
They're incapable of walking a straight line.
Totally incapable of it. Incapable. And always unhappy and never fit in and never feel comfortable. And always feel insecure and out of place. And never just always feel like something's wrong with them.
And then you're judged all the time by your families
Yes.
and everything.
Yeah, and you don't understand why. And you just feel like nobody understands you. And I almost feel like the next guy who maybe going through a sex change or something like that, you identify with them. Even though I look the way I do, I look perfectly like a normal girl that everything would be okay with. But I can identify with the not fitting in or feeling like something's wrong just because of the emotions I go through with my own things I struggle with. I can identify with people that truly just don't feel like they fit in regular society, which is a strange thing and it's hard to explain.
Yeah, and there's not an easy fix for it either. Even the medications you're taking are somewhat an experiment.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works. Let's see if that works.
Right. Right. And it's hard to put your finger on how do you not fit in?
Then you're taking these 3 drugs with this new drug, and there's some counter.
Right. And there's side effects to all of it. You
Yeah.
know, weight gain. I'm 20 pounds heavier than I like to be. This, that, and other. And I used to struggle with anorexia. You know, after I had my daughter, I went down to 98 pounds thinking people would take me seriously if I was thin. That's crazy. Normal people don't think that way, you know? And my mom struggles because she doesn't like to hear me talk like that. You know, she doesn't want to hear that I think that I'm like a little different or off. She doesn't want to hear that.
I'll ask a stupid question. You're the black sheep of your family. Right. And how's your relationship with your family?
Well, my mom's a black sheep too. My mom's a little wild
really?
now. Right. My relationship with my family is different. I'm the only one that really goes to jail and, you know, all that. My family is like middle America, Republican, like.
Everyone else goes to church, you go to jail.
Right. And I stay there. I don't just go for a night. I go and I stay for like 2 to 6 months, you know, lucky to get out type thing. So it's contentious, you could say. My dad, his last words to me, I was a loser. And that was it for me. That was 9 years ago. He's always been kind of a prick. He likes to make fun of my mom and talk shit about my mom, and say what a bad person she is or what not, or how crazy she is. But it dawned on me, how could he judge her? If he thinks that way about her, why did he leave me in her care and not really be a part of my life then? If that's how he really feels, you know? And then his wife was a piece of shit. I'd go up there and my dad was in medical school and I'd be in Hawaii with her and she would like do terrible things to try to like torment me, like terrible things. She would like kill my Cabbage Patch dolls, like put ketchup on them and like hang them from a rope in the hallway. Like that's terrible to do to a 7-year-old little girl. Like she would torment me and like make me watch horror movies that used to scare me to death. Like that's terrible to do to a child, you know? And I didn't even tell my father about that till I was in my late 20s. You know, like you don't terrorize a child like that, especially one who doesn't want to be there, you know? So I had a lot of fucked up things happen to me that I could never tell anybody about. So I have a lot of emotions that I really never dealt with that come out now in adulthood that I don't understand how to deal with. And it's kind of too late to even deal with them, but a lot of trust issues and a lot of fear I still carry with me. You know, and people don't understand that now. And my mom's the type of person, she doesn't want to deal with it. It's too much. It hurts her or it makes her feel uncomfortable. So she would rather just not hear about it. You know? So yeah, this life hasn't been easy for me, but I finally came to a point where I was like, forget it. I don't want to live in those fear moments anymore. I don't want to live feeling insecure anymore. So I numbed myself so much with drugs and figured I was going to just do it my way for a while.
What's been your darkest moment? You seem to be a little better right now.
Yeah, a lot better. My darkest moment was when I stayed living in those moments.
My darkest moment was when I stayed living, not even the drugs and not even hell, being on the drugs. My darkest moments were in living in those moments, trying to be happy in those moments, just trying to be something I'm not. I would say my darkest moments were staying in Orange County and trying to make everybody else happy and trying to go to CPS and see my daughter and trying to stay with my mom temporarily, and she telling me to get a job, and my stepsister was living there. She told me to get a job and us to get jobs to pay rent. So you know what I did? I grabbed her and I pimped her out for the day, got her a date, pimped her out for the day, and then made her go with me to the strip club and start a stripper job that night. And that was my mom's husband's daughter. She was in her 20s. I was in my 30s. And I said, we got jobs. And we brought home a lot of money and we got jobs. They were not too thrilled about that. But I was like, that was just my attitude. That was probably a dark moment. And I also crashed their house. I had a big Navigator at the time. And I came in and they were living in a big double-sized motorhome that they love. They have money. They don't have to live there, but they love it. I crashed down their house. Like literally the whole porch park crashed down when I came home that night. So that was probably a dark moment because I was trying to make them happy at the same time, kind of saying fuck you in a way, and brought her along. So yeah, that was a dark moment.
What's been the purest form of love you've experienced in your life?
Outside of with my little girl, the purest form of love is that I have somebody in my life that I truly, truly love dearly, that I just love this person unconditionally. And it was the first time I ever really, truly felt like real love. I can't describe a particular moment. It's just a feeling that I have and that I know is like really cool. It's beautiful. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's really, really beautiful. And it's a feeling this person gives me a lot. And I want this person to be happy no matter what. And whatever the choices are that makes this person happy, like I support 100, you know?
That's great.
So it's just their whole aura is of love. Me to them is of love. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to just explain. Like I don't have words. It's beyond me.
Yeah, maybe that'll be what saves you.
Right. Yeah. And they came to me recently with some really cool things that they had said to me, and it was pretty like amazing. And I almost couldn't accept it because I was like, you know, you love me like that. You know, I was really shocked, and you know, it was beautiful, really beautiful. And I'm having a hard time accepting it. You know, I'm kind of chasing him away and pushing him away.
Mm-hmm. Accepting that kind of stuff is
a
big challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your crazy life?
Life is short. Life is beautiful. But the most important lesson I've learned is that the law of attraction is real. What you put your thoughts into and your energy into is what you attract. Manifestation is real. And what we put our energies into, whether it be negative or positive, we get. So I strongly encourage myself on a daily basis to thank God and to really focus on positivity, because I'm going to get it back. Whatever I put my energy into, it's going to come back to me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Shana, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.